Him and Suarez signed on the same day.
Did you know much about him before you went to Liverpool, Suarez? Because I can't really...
No, I'd seen little bits of him, but not... Like, I knew he was a good player, but I didn't think, as soon as you see him, you think, oh, he's going to be some player.
In training?
Yeah, just relentless.
First,
yeah. Just he's...
got one.
I remember some lads used to say, you can't get, like, he nutmegs 10 times, like, he's lucky. And I was like, you can't nutmeg someone 10 times and be lucky.
A lot of the time, it doesn't even go through his legs. It'll hit his shin.
Yeah.
Ricochet back off him, and then he's through.
Yeah. He'd score goals like...
Where did he sign from? Where did he sign from?
Ajax.
He was only 22 million or something. And then they sold
Only
him for
22 million.
No, but like...
Yeah. You think
it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then he came and you could just see he was... And obviously he had his troubles in his first year, 18 months, but he was always a good lad. He was quiet off the pitch, honestly, but put him on the pitch. Just wanted to win.
One of them
fight,
switch on and on.
Yeah, on and off. But he was quite a quiet lad, just family lad, didn't go out and that, just stayed with his wife and his kids, and he was all right. He's two different characters.
Yeah.
Did he ever frustrate you? Because I can remember watching him thinking, he's like the best player in the school team. He just don't pass to anyone.
No. And it was one of them is, oh, sorry, I didn't see you, but he seen you. He was clever.
Off Louis.
Made eye contact.
Louis.
Clever. But he was an unbelievable player. I think early on he was fighting everyone. I think he had an argument with Jordan. I think it came out, didn't it? And Jordan had to go at him because he was throwing his hands about. And I think
in training or...
Yeah, in training and stuff. And then
sulking.
Yeah, and him and Aggie used to kick each other every day. And I think he just wanted to win, to be honest. But I think as he got older, he got more mature. And then, like I say, he was always going to go to one of the big clubs, I think.
Would he train as he played? Like,
yeah, he'd trying to make people, and then Aggie was a bit feisty as well, and they were just clashing. But he got on, everyone got on, but he's just the way he played. Yeah.
Were you there when he did the biting then?
Yeah.
What like, Louis, you can't do that, mate.
I imagine
to be fair, we didn't know about the bite. We didn't know about the bite. I remember, if you see the clip, and I'm like sort of out wide, and he sort of rolls in the box, he looks like he falls on him. But then after the game, it comes out like, oh, I think he's bit him, and then he just went, oh, yeah, I did, yeah.
Did you bite him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think he just has that switch, doesn't he? Where like he just fell on him, he's getting frustrated. Because to be fair, Ivanovic done quite well against him that day, taking the ball off him, he's trying to meg him. I think he's just lost his head in split second, and then he's probably regretted it. But that's the way he was.
Biting's a funny go-to, though, isn't it? Because he's done it a few times. He did it for.
He's got some old nashes to bite with, isn't
he? You're going to work to your strengths, aren't you?
That's rich coming from me, like, but he's got some nashes to have a go at.
But anybody like no stick, like for. Like you can imagine at Preston or whatever, and there's a muzzle hanging on his peg next day, something like that.
I think the Spanish lads used to have the banter with him because obviously his English was a bit broken at the time, and they used to call him like the rat and all that and stuff. But like I think it was always Enrique, he was always on him calling him the rat, and he was on it, and he just laughed it off. He was like, but to be fair, he was a young lad. He went through a bit of stick, and I was thinking, he might leave here, and like he wasn't getting bad press. Like I say, he went through the Everett thing. That was a big thing for him. Yeah. I think he was hurt by all that, and but then, like you say, he sort of like just get better and better. And under, like say, Brendan's season when he scored that 30-odd goal, like I say, he was always going to go to one of the big clubs. He was that good.
What was the everything? Did he say a racist slur that were different in his own context in his own country?
Yeah, which is the norm. He said in his country, and he was just sort of said, "I'm not racist." I think somebody's mate or family, and like I say, he said, "I'm not racist." He just said, like, "I don't think I've done anything wrong," and obviously everything. Yeah, and it went, and then. No, what didn't help, it was like, I think he said he was shaking his hand at Old Trafford. We went on the pitch, didn't we? And then he just didn't do it. I think because everyone was sort of like, they were like goading each other, I think, before the tunnel and the walk out. And then he just thought, I'm not doing it. You know, I'm trying to be on it and you're trying to goad me, I'm not doing it. And that's just the way he was. And he just didn't do it. And we all went, oh, God,
Did Everett put his hand out today?
Put his hand out.
One of them did.
Yeah, and then he sort of said he put his hand out but didn't put his hand out. And stuff was going back and forward. And obviously, just before half-time, just we've seen the clip, the ball lands to him near the dugout, and he just blasts the ball at the dugout on the whistle.
Who, Suarez does?
Suarez, at the Man United bench, just blasted it straight at him. And he sort of like, he was taking the full ground, and he just like, sort of didn't care.
He's got that one on toast, by the way, the old, I did put my hand out. Yeah. I didn't see you. He's a live bastard, isn't he?
He must have had one eye on.
Yeah, and
what's going to happen here as you're walking out line.
Yeah, and then obviously we go in the tunnel and he kicks off. But I don't know if it was sort of like, I say planned, because when we got there, I think Vidic wasn't in the squad or the team, but he was already in the tunnel. He'd been Old Trafford's big tunnel and then goes into a little tiny bit, and then it just was kicking off.
Proper kicking off.
Kicking off, and you see Rooney then running down, and then Rooney's at the back. I remember at the back, I was thinking, I'm definitely at the back here. But Rooney was going in the back, and he was like, look, what's going on? I was like, oh, it's kicking off. And I was sort of like, keep him that way, because he might throw one. But he was just like, I think we were trying to break it up, but I think, obviously, Rio and Vidic, and then made obviously scene of it, and then Big Pepe got involved, and
Was it?
I'm sure Rio clocked a count on the on the cheek. And it was like one of them when he wasn't looking, he's clocked him and he's like, I'm going to kill him. Dirk lost his head, I'm going to kill him. But then he went out second half. We got beat, but he scored Suarez. He sort of played on the edge and he
just loved it.
Didn't affect him.
Thrived on it.
See, that's the first like tunnel bust that we've heard from like a big game.
Big at that.
Was he?
Nemander's the one. Okay, I'm going down, love. There's going to be some trouble.
He's a big lad, obviously, but we had lads, Skirtle, intimidating, Agger, and I was thinking, I'm keeping right about this. I'm not ready for this, but...
Skirtle and Vidic, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
How was Suarez after the United game, because United won, didn't they? And everyone's like, right in front of him.
I've seen him, he just walks off, he just plays the game. To him, he's just thinking, I'm trying to win, I'm trying to do anything to win. We got beaten, just walk off. Maybe there's different South Americans, they just want to win, they'll do anything to win. But generally, he was a good lad, you know what I mean? He was quite funny, he was quite quiet. But like I said, put him on the pitch, different animal.
Were you in the meeting when Parler asked him about calling him gaffer?
Sat at the front. And it was a bit awkward, and that was Ray to a T, and he was dead off the cuff. And imagine, in the meeting room, the lights are dimmed a little bit, and I'm at the front, and the guy's like, right, lads, obviously, Stewart, etc. I've played with you lads, you call me Gate or Gareth or probably nobody. He made a sort of a joke like that. And he said, but obviously in the next couple of weeks, got to be gaffer or boss. And just heard this voice, what about Big Nose? And Steve Harrison was sat next to Ray. And if you know Steve Harrison, one of the funniest coaches I've ever met, and it sort of just went dead. The room went, oh, fuck. Has he just said that? And I was just like, and he went, yeah, all Big Nose, but you could see he was fuming. It was like, I think Ray turned around, Malcolm Crosby was there at the time, and he said, I think that's me done, Malcolm. And I think he was done. I think
that's me done.
I think he knew, and he was in the reserves. I think he said on his pod, didn't he, that he was on the reserves for a couple of months, and then he sort of drifted out. I think he went a hole after that, but honestly, what a character Ray was.
The thing is, Southgate's actually handled that quite well.
Yeah, he styled it out, but you can see it's like, well, I've sort of got to front this because I'm the manager and I've got to make a stance. I can't have him sort of mug me off in front of, because we were a young team. And we were probably looking, thinking, well, what's he going to do now? Legend Ray Parler, and he just sort of went to the side. But Ray knew.
I think that's me.
Malcolm, I'm sure it was Malcolm Crosby and Steve Harrison. Yeah, I think that's me. I think that's me done, Malcolm. Honestly,
it's daft, isn't it? That one little flip it off the cuff comment like that could end your career at a club.
I was a bit in awe of players, especially Juninho, because I'd been a ball boy, watched him obviously coming through. But I think once you meet Ray Parler, with people like that, you're all right. And Ray sort of took me on his wing a little bit, like he took me into Yarm, if you know Yarm, back up in Middlesbrough. Yeah. Had a couple of nights out, went to races a few times and stuff with him. So them lads are great. They've had great careers, but they're also good, good professionals. And they took us. I think it was David Murphy at the time, if you remember him, played for Birmingham and Hibs. Me and him came through at the same time into the first team, so we got well looked after by them senior pros.
Yeah. What was Juninho like?
Great lad.
Great lad, yeah?
Great lad, yeah.
What was his thing like? Because he just kept coming back to Middlesbrough. You couldn't get him away from it, could you?
I think
was it 3 times he come back?
3 times.
Wow.
Yeah. By the 3rd time, he obviously had a bad injury, so he left under relegation. You remember 1997? Yeah. And then he went to Atletico Madrid and broke his leg, had a bad break before the World Cup, I think. Yeah. And then he came back on loan, and then he went back, and then he sort of like went a few clubs, I think, and then he came back under Steve McLaren. Yeah. So I think when Steve signed him, I'm not really sure if he wanted him sort of a club thing, get the fans on side. It was like because he never really played him that much. Yeah. And come towards the end, he got a bit annoyed. He wasn't playing, and you could see he was frustrated, and he'd lost that little bit of pace again. But he was an amazing player for.
He won the World Cup.
I just want to say one thing. Yeah. He seems low key, low maintenance, but most Brazilians, as we know, love a party. Could he find a party up in the north?
He must have. I played with a few Brazilians, and like you said, they love a party. I was only young with Juninho, so I don't really know, but he was a great lad around the place. Loved training. He always had a smile on his face. No ego about him or anything. He just, like I say, he come to Middlesbrough from. Could have went to all the top clubs in the country, and he came to Middlesbrough because he loved it. The fans loved him, and he was sort of the hero growing up. Everyone loved Juninho. He was the man, and he was a top player. I
messaged Wheater this morning, and the only thing he said was, ask him if he can remember us hiding me dick.
I can't specifically remember him doing it, but he did a lot of things. Wheat. I think you've seen him having a nut and ice.
Brilliant, man.
We had some good times, me and Wheat. I think he mentioned it on his pod, didn't he, that we had a few nights out in Recca, me and Tunjai.
That's an unlikely trio. That
Yeah.
Tuncay's a great lad, Turkish lad. He didn't drink or but he loved the tab and that, and he liked the night out, and he just loved the atmosphere, I think. And me and Weed would have a couple of beers, and he'd come with us with his mates, Turkish lads, and I think he just liked the area. I think because where he's come from in Turkey, he was a bit of an idol. People left him alone, and he could have a cigarette on the street if he wanted, or like I say, have a couple of beers and with me and Wheat, and he enjoyed it. And but Wheat always gave us some entertainment on nights out with his worm dances and.
Well, you said, didn't you, yesterday, that everyone's got a mate like we.
Yeah.
People listen to the.
That's what, I think loads of people have enjoyed that episode because everybody knows a Wheater. Everybody's got a mate like we, and it's just a
Wheater.
Everybody can relate to it.
Everybody knows a Wheater. He's not an alien. Everybody knows a Wheater.
No, he's a bit daft, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like,
There's always a daft lad, isn't there?
Yeah, he's good fun. And just when he was, relaying the stories of being in England squad.
Yeah.
And he's just a good lad, isn't he? Like, he likes to laugh, and he's in England squad.
Yeah. I think I listened to his pod, and obviously the KFC story's true on the way down. I said to him, you better get some good food in you, because, say good food, bit of naughty food, because you're going to be eating pasta with no sauce and everything when we get here with Capello, because he was quite strict on all. So it's a little bit of naughtiness before we were going into a proper camp. And I think, like you say, he was on a crest of a wave. He got into the first team, big Boro fan, got in the England squad. He played very well as well, to be fair to him, in the Premier League. He done really well. And like the England trip, I think he played it down a little bit, the free kick one. Because I said, like, off camera, when we went to Trinidad, Beckham was practicing free kicks one side, I was on another side, and that was sort of the trend after training, a couple of free kicks, and that was it. And Wheats just walked over and said, this is how you do it, and he sort of spot the ball, and he's pinged it, and he couldn't get any further in the top corner, and just walked off and went, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
I think, like, the lads like Beckham, and then because maybe people bow to him a little bit, and obviously who he is, but he was a great lad, Bex, but people obviously because of his stature, and I think he just seen Wheat as, like, he's a bit of a throwback and a bit mental, but they loved him because he had that type of attitude where he's laid back, he was good fun, and they probably appreciated him.
Yeah.
I can imagine he didn't care if it were Beckham or whoever. I think he'd still be exactly the same, have the same crack, even though it's with Beckham and the rest of the squad.
Yeah. Like, who turns up to an England squad with David Beckham shower gel? Like, I think they loved him for it. He just walked in the shower. I'm not lying, he didn't do it on purpose. He just walked in the shower, put his shower gel down, obviously he's getting the wash and that, and then he's just... And then Bex is opposite him, and he's getting washed, and smells great, this. And it's like, is he for real or what? But I think they loved him for it. And to be fair to him, he deserved to be there because he had a really good season. And I think he mentioned that he was going to get a chance against Trinidad, and I thought he might put him on the second half, but I think there was a problem with the rule change, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So he was unlucky, really, but he did have a very good couple of seasons in the Premier League.
I've heard about Steve Harrison.
Steve Harrison.
Was he just make his laugh?
Yeah, I think he was, don't get me wrong, first and foremost, unbelievable coach with a team, how he can organise. I think that gets played down a bit. Everyone thinks he's just a jack the lad. But because McLaren was serious in his coaching, now he was like the opposite. He was an unbelievable number two. He'd come in the dressing room, just pretend he was doing things like shagging things, and just I'm trying to think of some things he did. Like, remember, played Roma in the UEFA Cup. I always remember this. And there's a big fountain in the square. Imagine there's lovely people getting pictures and all that, and we're all walking in our Boro taxi. And we're just walking, thinking, obviously, walk around to each side, and you come up to the side and keep going. He just walked through the fountain and kept walking. And he just done things like that. And you asked Dean Windass about him, he loved him, and he just done, like, he would go in the hotel, the reception, we'd be checking in, and Harry would throw himself down the stairs and pretend he'd fell. And be like, on the floor. But he's like winking, going to lads, my arm. You got the staff running over. Harry, you all right? And he's like, yeah, fine, sorry, I tripped on the thing. And he's like, just, you can't, like, there's too many stories. There's a hill at Rockcliffe. I don't know if you've seen it. It goes down before the pitches. I'm talking like that. And it was a windy day one day, and we're walking down the hill. Next minute, he just starts tumbling down the hill, rolling, going, it's windy out here, lads. And he just keeps going and going.
It's windy out here.
I like it. The lads are just like, what is he all about?
See, that's class. I think you need somebody like that.
Yeah.
An idiot.
Yeah. Generally, a lot of time it's a goalkeeper coaching it, because they've been goalkeepers and they're all idiots, aren't they?
I don't know.
Remember the groin stretch where you sort of lay on your front and you stretch your back up like that, and you like lean forward and do all that. and you knew it was coming, and he'd say something like, "Oh, Mrs. Downing, oh, the groin." Stewie's away Saturday, he's got a game. What do you fancy, me and you? And he one day, I think he said it to Hugo. "Oh, Mrs. Eggy," or like that. And Hugo's got up. No, don't talk about my wife like that. I'm thinking, this could. I'm only joking, Hugo. And he was a bit. He used to do things like that on the edge. He was always on the edge. Just like stretch his arm, going, "Oh, Mrs. Eggy." Okay, now. I'm not sure you can do that here. He was like, "Don't talk about my."
She's not really there. She's not really there.
What was Dino like in the dressing room?
Funny. Good lad, Dino. I had one incident with Dino. He'd probably tell you. And we got on great after that. He was like class. We used to have nights out with him and all sorts. He was a good fella. Great pro as well. Not people give him respect for that. He was a great pro, trained unbelievable. Sometimes he was in reserves and he'd come to like Birmingham Synthonia, Tuesday night, pissing down. Like I said, 2 men and his dog, and he'd run his bollocks off for us. And you got to give him credit for that. He was a proper good pro and he was a good player as well. And I think one time he told me to cross the ball. I sort of like muttered under my breath and he's heard me. And we've come in. I don't know if he remembers at half time. And he said to me, "Don't you speak to me like that again?" And I've gone, "Yeah, no problem." Like,
She's up again.
I melted again.
Just let him brush. I'll take the shit up and I'll get on my way.
But and I said to him, "I'm really sorry." You know, I didn't directly go like in front of people, throw me out, just fuck off, like under my breath. And he's heard me. And then after that, and he said to me, "You learn like when you get older, you know, when you get a senior pro sort of thing, people speak to you like you won't sort of tolerate it." And we got on great after that. And to be fair to him, he was good in that, and he did really well for us at Boro. And I got on great with him. Now I see him, games. I've texted him a few times, and we got on really on. But it could have started ever so bad, couldn't it?
Well, I suppose that's good the way that he's put you in place a bit, but then passed a bit of knowledge on at the same time.
He's that fucking thick. He probably forgot about it.
Yeah. It was a little arm round the shoulder, but a very strong one. Like, don't you speak to me like that ever again. And to be fair, I was thinking, he's half got a point, because when you get older, you try to help. He was probably trying to help me, and if you do that to a young kid now and he'd done that to you, you'd probably lose your head, wouldn't you? So I think he had a point.